Good morning, everyone. As always, rise with a destination. Salute. Hopefully, everybody woke up in prayer. You're moving in prayer, and you're out here being safe, productive, and profitable. So you're in the business now. You're in the business. You got your vehicle. A lot of times, people get in the business, they get their vehicle, and they're trying to hit the ground running. I hope you've covered steps one and two. Step number one, I hope you've done some research and figured out where to go to acquire loads so you can make money, and um, where to go to make money and how to make the money, right? A lot of people think those are two and the same. They're not. Um, and then the second thing you need to know is how much money you need to make, right? A lot of times, I think a lot of people get in this business, and I guess in their 9 to 5 or whatever. Let's just say you were making in your 9 to 5 $4,000 a month, $1,000 a week, whatever the case may be, and then after taxes, you got whatever you got. So then they hear rumors of, oh man, we can get into this, this freight industry, and we can make $10,000 a month and upward. Or and then some people tell themselves, oh shoot, if I at least make 6 or 7, I'm good, right? Because based off of whatever they already make and whatever their bills already are. What you don't account for in that with that mindset is you're just looking at numbers. You're not even analyzing them appropriately because you don't have all the proper factors in place. Because once you make the investment, so one, you already got whatever money you have. You have to make an investment. So now you're deducting from that. So that's going to lessen, right? To get into this business, to go get your van, to go get your insurance, to get a load board, whatever it is, pay for your driving record for some load boards. You want to get your MC, your DOT, your BOC3, all that stuff you're gonna need, right? So now all this money had to go out, right? Because you started with, let's just say you came into the game, you had a little $5,000, $10,000. Now you get out here, boom, boom, boom. You start making moves, getting the pieces in place to get into the game, right? Make a down payment on your van, all that good stuff. So now you have to add that van monthly payment, that insurance monthly payment, the load board monthly payment, um, whatever else, right? So now all of that goes into your overhead, right? And you got to start earning money. What's the play? All right. So like I said, the second thing you need to know was how much money you need to make monthly. You start there. First thing you want to do is figure out how much money I need to make monthly to, and then minimize that. What I mean by that is you want to break it down to a daily because we get 24 hours a day. That's how we live our lives, right? And then you can break that down to hours, minutes, seconds, however you plan on doing it. But anyway, you figure out how much you need to make monthly. So let's just say monthly, all your bills are $5,000. Great. So now you got to get to work to make $5,000 a month, and that also needs to be a profitable cash flow, right? Because if it's not profitable, meaning you're making more money than you're kicking out, then you're digging yourself into a financial hole, which a lot of people don't seem to be able to recognize. But $5,000 a month. Now you break that down. You tell yourself first you're all excited, right? You're going off of unreal adrenaline and energy, and you tell yourself, I'll work every day, right? No, you're not. Let's cut the crap. You're just not, right? And even if you will to start, eventually you'll start to dial back a little bit, right? Because you're human, right? So anyway, so we're going to say you're going to work 22 days out of the month. So you're taking off 8 days a month, 2 days every weekend, 4 weekends in a month, right? Some months 5, right? But anyway, so let's say we're going to work 22 days out of the month. So to make $500, we're just gonna call it 250. We know 250 times 20 is 500. We're just gonna say you need 250 a day, right? So you need to bring home 250 a day, right? Okay, that's just to pay your bills. If you add up your bills, the came to 5,000. The 250 is just to pay your bills, right? So that's 250 after gas. I'm gonna go off daily expenses after gas, after food. Um, that's really it as far as daily expenses are concerned. Then you get into your monthly, your oil changes, and all that other stuff. We're gonna stick with daily. So after gas and after food, you need $250 that you need to bring home every day just to pay your bills. If you do that, then you just live and check to check. You can go back to your 9 to 5. So now you need to bump that 5,000 up. So you need to say, okay, I probably need to make because you're running a business now. You're an independent contractor because you still got to get your health insurance, all that at some point, right? If you don't already have it through some other way, right? So let's just say we need 8,000 a month. All right. So we're gonna bump that up to 400 a day. Net. That's bring home, right? All right. So $400 a day sounds realistic because you got your $5,000 for your bills, your $3,000 you put to the side. You know what I mean, for everything else. You know what I mean. Like that's your positive generated cash flow that should be, you know, residual, so to speak, because every month you want to have 3,000 that you put into the side and hope and pray that you don't have any mechanical issues, none of that stuff. If you're one of the people who jumped in and you didn't have, and you don't have solid credit to back you up or cash on deck if something goes left, right? So, and even if you do, you still want to add, you want to start adding to that because mind you kicked out for your van, for your insurance, all that type of stuff, right? So cool. So now you need to make $8,000 a month to start to have all your bills covered and have positive cash flow going to your bottom line that shows you have a healthy business, right? Because 9 times, because you should at this point have a business bank account, all that type of stuff, and you want, of course, at some point in the future, you're probably going to tell yourself you want to scale and all that other type of stuff. So you're going to probably look to get a bank loan 9 times out of 10, right? So you want positive cash flow for your business reporting to that bank. You want them to see that, man, at the end of every month, he good, right? He's on the up. Everything is a plus, right? So 8,000 a month, 400 a day. We know for 22 days, that's really what, 8,800, but that's fine. You don't let the other 800 just sit to the side. I want to use round numbers right now so you can understand what I'm saying. So we need $400 a day, 22 days a week, 22 days a month. Taking off 2 days a week. One of those days need to be your office day. Whether you pay attention to your finances daily or weekly, you need to do one or the other. Don't start trying to chase your finances every month, every 3 months, every 4 months, every 6 months, every year. You're gonna be screwed. But anyway, 400 a day. So now you gotta figure out how to get this $400 a day. Your MC's brand new, so you don't qualify for any major load boards. You don't qualify. No, you qualify. You can go sign up for them. I'll put it like that. But it wouldn't be beneficial to you at the moment because your MC should be at least 6 months old before you invest in a load board. So right now, how do you get loads? You can go sign on to a courier service, right? They'll let you run under their MC. You got other owner operators out here that might let you lease on under them or under their MC. Cool, until your stuff ages. That's great. Mind you, they're gonna take a percentage of your money, right? They're gonna want a percent for whatever services they're gonna offer you. So that's one way. That's one option. And you got gig apps. You got gig apps such as Roadie, such as Curry, such as Bungie, such as Freight, Airspace. Who else? Simpex, Dispatcher. There's a number of them. There's a ton of gig apps that you can go sign on for. Then you have load apps, which are basically couriers that have an app and they're bidding on. They'll bid on loads for you and they'll try to get you loads, so on and so forth. But they have apps. So you have a load app, and like A to Z, like Nitro, like Empire, like I think Hippix is one. There's a number of load apps. I hate the fact that I find myself mentioning this company all the time, but I mention it just to tell you how much they suck. A&E Logistics. Do not sign on with them. They're the worst ever. You can look at the Google reviews, and from what I understand, they actually started paying people to put positive Google reviews out. So talk to people about A&E. You can go in any social media platform group that's about this business, this industry that we're in, and anybody alive will tell you A&E sucks. Period. Do not sign on with them. But so you have gig apps, load apps. Of course, you can do your foot thing. You can get in your local area, go to every potential business. Anybody that has a loading dock or a ramp behind their business, trust shit at the front door. You know what I mean? Go and pitch to them. What you offer, what you bring to the table, what you're willing to do. Figure out how you can be a benefit to them, to their business, and see if you can get some type of contract, or even if they'll just accept your number, where it doesn't have to be an ironclad contract. It just be something where, hey, if you guys get something, I'm local to your business. I'm right in the area, and if you got something, give me a call, give me a shot. You know what I mean? See what we can do. I don't know what you're paying. Say you at a tire spot. I don't know what you're a used tire spot. I don't know what you're paying your guys to go pick up the tires or whatever the case may be, but or whatever. You know what I mean? Just get into your negotiation thing. You know what I mean? But so now you have to find a way to make this $400 a day, and those are a number of the ways that you can make it. Those are most of the options right there. Um, Once you figure that out, now it's time to get busy, right? It's time to get busy. You gotta get out here. You gotta make this $400 a day. Starting off, you might not make that. Sometimes you might luck up and make that. You know what I mean? So mind you, sometimes those 2 days, you might have planned for your 2 days off to be Saturday and Sunday, but Tuesday you got no work, so you was off Tuesday, right? All right. So now you got to work Saturday, right? Say Wednesday you get no work, or Thursday you get no work, so now you got to work Sunday, right? Or maybe not at all. Maybe you do have to be prepared to work every day, which I would say is the right way to go about it, until you get so far ahead that now you can start to take days off. Like that's how I kind of started off. Um, so those are the things you need to know when you first get into this business. You know how much money you need to make a month. You need to break that down to daily, and then you need to know what are the resources out here that can help you get loads, that can give you loads, give you work. I mean, you know about the door dashes and all that. Anything that can get you going positively, right? But then you also need to know, like, since you got your daily figured out, then you know, then it's a matter of getting out there, getting to work. But then, like I said earlier, like making sure you are not running yourself in a hole. When you first start off, you want to pay attention to your finances daily so you can course correct like that. You want, and because you got to be able to identify where you messed up. You know what I mean? If you sat there and you took let's just say you took a 300-mile load for $200, going to New York, right? So you got a $40 toll. The 300 miles up there is going to be 80% of your gas. You're going to have to fill that tank back up. So you got a $40 toll, $80 in gas that you're going to have to spend. That's 120 of that 300 already gone. You left with $180, right? And now you're not home. You ain't ate yet. You know what I mean? Hopefully you brought some food with you, but or you might have to head back home. Well, more gas just got spent, right? Another toll just got acquired, right? So another $40 toll. Let's just say another, because the 300 miles didn't take up your whole tank of gas. That took up 3/4 of your tank. So let's just say another $30 in gas, right? So that's another $70. You see what's happening here? So now you're down to like what, 110? Now you're down to 110. You got back home, might be hungry again, right? Because 300 miles up, that's five hours. 300 miles back, that's 5 hours if you did here and you don't get no work. Well, now you're hungry again. That's 10 hours, not including the time to, load, unload, and all that. So you probably really was out there for like 12 hours. You might have sat up there for a good 2-3 hours waiting to try to get a load. So you had 15 hours in your day. You back home now. Money low. You ain't make that $400, right? You ain't make the $400. You bid, you got $300. And once you broke it all down due to your destination, you're now down to, where are we at? Where are we at? I forgot where we were at. But I think we was down like 110 or 120, something like that. So now you're down to 120 out of $300. So right now you're negative 280. You're negative 280 on day one because you took a bad load. Bees, this time of year they trying to sting something. It's cold outside. So now you minus 280. Tomorrow got to be up, right? So that's where a lot of people make mistakes, and that's where it gets bad, because they don't know that number, and then they go take anything, right? You get so desperate, you take anything, just thinking if I just go make some money, but right now you're losing. If you did that every day, right? If you only brought home that $120 every day for the 22 days, you're about to be homeless. You're literally going in debt. You can't afford your bills now. Like you can't afford your bills at all. So when you get out here, you got to know how you're going to get money, where you're going to get the money from, and you got to make sure the deals and the loads that you're taking makes sense. So you're not running yourself in a hole. So your financial output is not exceeding is not blah, blah, blah. What's the word I'm looking for? You get what I'm saying. I gave y'all the example. I'm doing this straight, and I'm gonna post this straight just like this, with mistakes and all that. But so that's the thing. You know what your daily number is. You got to hit that number. So then on the flip side of that, I saw a video recently where one of my peers, a guy who's doing a great job in this industry, was talking about making money off the loads, and you can still hit it. And it's like basically what he was trying to say was a lot of people out here denying turning down loads, right? Because for all the wrong reasons, they're not really crunching their numbers. Had they crunch their numbers, so if you only need 400 a day, right, and you see and I hope I can put this together so it'll make sense. You see 1,000 mile load, right? 1,000 mile load is going to be roughly like 2.5 tanks of gas, right? So you see 1,000 mile load and you bid and you get it for $900, right? So of that $900, you just spent, I'm gonna say, almost $200 to go get the load, right? So you had $700, right? 1,000 miles is gonna take you 17 hours. It's almost a whole day. So you probably gonna eat once or twice. Hopefully at this point you budget your money right. So out of 900, you spent 200 in gas, and that'll still leave you with another half a tank of gas. You spent 200 in gas, and so you're down to 700. And let's just say you only spent $25 on food, which is great. Um, Now you're down to 675 for that day. Boom, you hit your money. You needed 400 a day. You at 675. You 275 up. You know what I mean? And hope and prayerfully that remaining half a tank of gas that you probably got from that third fill up that you had to do, because it's gonna take you 2 to run them 1,000 miles in a regular gas vehicle. Um, then hopefully you can get something with that last 200, that last half a tank, which should equate to somewhere around 225 miles. You know what I mean? So if you can get something else with that, do good. Or use a gig app, start hitting some little gigs here and there. But those are pretty decent. Like, especially once you already up. If you're sitting there on 675 out of a $900 bid on 1,000 mile load, then you can go do like a couple roads. A lot of times Roadie has stuff like pick up a prescription from CVS, and mind you, the person lives right around the corner from CVS, 1 or 2 miles. You go 2 miles for $10. You do 4 or 5 of them, you got another $50. You know what I mean? You ain't really gone no far. You can literally camp outside of a CVS and watch it just keep grabbing them, keep grabbing them. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of people don't like them. They see them and they don't like them, but it's like literally that's $10 to $5 a mile, and you're going nowhere. You're literally going nowhere. Shit, you can put a bike in the back of your van and ride the shit around to their house. You know what I mean? Like, real talk. If you really want to get to it, you know what I mean? If you really want to get to it and pocket as much as you want, and it's a small CVS prescription, you got a bike in the back of your van, man, ride that shit around the corner for a mile, get yourself some exercise. Listen, get to it. You know what I mean? You can't afford to fail. You literally can't afford to fail. Right? So you got to figure out every way and every corner to cut to keep yourself afloat until you can get to the lower boards. Right? And the great part about that is that struggle for them first 6 months builds character. It builds that, it makes you resourceful, right? It makes you get out here and you find every little way to get the money. It makes you crunch your numbers every day. That's what it should do, right? And then now you're a monster, you're a beast. Because once you get them load boards cracking, man, and then you still utilize all that other stuff and put it in play, you're still using your load app, you're still using your gig app, you're still riding your bike, like you still, whatever it is, right? Like you still doing all of that on top of that. You know what I mean? Oh, and Spark, the Spark app, gig app. That for me was a big key because Spark is connected to Walmart, and there's a Walmart in every goddamn city and state in the world, a few of them. So you get the Spark app, and wherever you go, you can get some work. You know what I mean? So that's just a little bit of help for people. I hope I broke that down the right way so you can understand. Like, you just need to be able to hit your number. You just need to be able to hit your number. The bottom line is hit your daily number. And if that means taking the 1,000-mile load at 90 cents a mile, and mind you, I broke that down, you know what I mean, where you still had 675, right? So that was $275. You still could have took it for 80 cents. You get what I'm saying? Like, so know your number. A lot of people get in this business and they get caught up, their pride getting away, and they hear what other people say, and or they hear what it should be. Listen, your situation is your situation. The day may come when you're out here getting it for 250 a mile, nothing less than 175 a mile. Great. That day ain't here when you first get into the business. And you can't step into the business with a senior's pride, right? You can't step into this business with the pride of somebody that's been in this business for God knows how long. You know what I mean? So you got to come into this thing ready to grind, hustle, and be on top of your business. That's what you got to be willing to do. If you're not willing to do that and you're not ready to do that, or you don't have the mental capacity to keep it together while you go through that phase of this, hang it up. And I hate to say that to somebody because I don't believe in quitting. I hate the word try, but hang it up because it's the certain pieces that you got to have as a man or a woman when you step into this game and you trying to be independent. You know what I mean? And finance your life through your own personal independent work. And if you don't have those pieces, if you don't have the grind, the will, the perseverance, the patience, and the number one resource, God on your side, and I'm gonna always say that. And some people, listen, you ain't gotta do what you want to do. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, being out here, you can do one out of two things. You can get pissed, angry, frustrated, deal with anxiety, depression, and all that, or you can send it all up. Send it all up. You can just lean on him. I promise you will find some peace. You will find some harmony. You will find some focus. You will find a level of ease and contentment that'll start to, become you. And then you'll be able to move forward and persevere and keep on doing your thing and prospering in this business. That's it, man. So for everybody that jumped in, got your van, now you're standing still, you don't know what to do. I just threw some stuff out there to you, but you got to know your number. You got to know your number. You can't let other people's experience, you can't make it your experience. You got to create your own experience, but you got to study. You got to use your resources. You got to talk to people, network, all of that, and so everybody that has reached out to me that I've been able to spend some time with and give some gems to and so on and so forth, I hope you're doing great. And like I probably told you once we got off the phone, my number's always open. You can always call me. You can always hit me. Things have been a little different with this box truck. I have been super busy. Being on the phone has not been something that I've done much driving in this. When I was in the van, I was always on the phone. Being in this thing, I'm not talking as much. So if I'm out here handling loads, you're probably not going to get me. So where I used to be able to just DM people my number, say, call me in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Then I'm on the phone, I'm talking to you for an hour while I'm driving. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that in this thing. This thing is huge. I went through a horrible accident in my van. Didn't have nothing to do with my phone. And just to imagine having a similar accident in something this big, carrying the weight that it carries, nah, that pretty much put me off the phone. That's why right now I'm parked and I'm talking to you guys. So I hope this adds some value to you, gives you some small tidbit of understanding of a mistake or oversight that you may have made on your part, or what you haven't figured out yet. But you must know your number. And the goal is to get that number every day. Your bills are dependent on it. Your kids are dependent on it. Your family is dependent on it. Your future is dependent on it. Your business is dependent on it. So you cannot afford to not hit that number every day, because the day that you don't hit it, then the next day it adds on, because you got to make the number because your bills are requiring it. You have to make the number. You know what I mean? So that's one of the big things I'm realizing a lot of people are missing, right? And then and I want to say this, and that'll be another video later, which is the courier services. Do you realize, like, if I just told you one of the first things you need to know is your number that you need to make every day, when you sign on to courier services, they never ask you, like, hey, John, like, well, how much money do you need to make every day? They don't ask you that. You know why? They don't give a fuck. You're not a priority to them. Excuse my language. You know what I mean? They don't care about your situation. You're just a number, and they just want to get their percentage off of your convenience. That's it. If you're close to a load, they'll try to book it for you, and they want their percentage off of it. They don't care if that load hits your number. They don't care. They don't care. Your finances mean nothing to them, and it's not supposed to, right? It's not. They're not you. They don't live in your house. They're not depending on you feeding them. You know what I mean? To a degree, they are. You know what I mean? But not that much. You're a small percentage. You're like, they got 30 other drivers they booking for. Their daily life number might be $250. They're like, all right, cool. If I get 10% off of 5 loads or 6, 7 loads, I'm good. Out of 30 drives, if I get 7 booked every day, I'm good. I ain't worried about John today. I already got mine, so now I ain't sweating it. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm heavy against signing on the courier services. I'll do another completely different video in reference to that. But or signing on to someone, unless I can see you leasing on to somebody and like leasing on to an owner operator that's going to allow you to use their MC, and they're either gonna, I can't even say dispatch route to you, if they'll give you access to the load board that they're using. That's it. That's it. That's included in their lease on program. They won't do that. You got to get to it. You gotta tough it out for them first 6 months. Get on your grind, make stuff happen. And hit your number every day. Know your number, hit your number, and utilize every source you have. Okay? All right, everybody. As always, rise with a destination. Salute.